Hello folks, with Wuchang Fallen Feathers set to release in roughly 20 or so days from now, I naturally want to start building some hype and traction for the channel, so when release day finally arrives, we should be at a better starting off point. However, I do not want to rehash many of the same videos already floating around for Wuchang, but with the limited amount of content currently available, options are very much few and far between. So we're going to compromise and find a worthy middle ground for us all. Today we're looking at all known weapons, in-game mechanics, bosses, skill tree options, etc. I've rammed as much information into this video as I could possibly find, and I've streamlined it beyond belief. I've dug around forums, Discord, official web pages, YouTube videos, and just about anything Wuchang related over the past few days, and I'm confident this is pretty much everything we could possibly know so far, so let's get started. I've broken this video down into sections, so do feel free to move around the video. Otherwise, as a very brief intro, because I would like to get into all the good stuff, Wuchang is published by 505 Games and developed by Lindsay. Our main character is called Bai Wuchang, who is a pirate awoken with amnesia and inflicted with a feathering disease named ornithopy. It's set in a fictionalized version of the land of Shu during the late Ming Dynasty within China. The disease is a very recent development, and it would appear that some important events take place just prior to the beginning of the game. The developers have stated that the story here is very rich and should be easier to follow along with than most Souls-like titles typically are. The game was also made in Unreal Engine 5, and from everything we can see, it does look quite pretty. I don't want to talk about the lore or the story much more than that, and perhaps we will revisit this with a different video once a little bit closer to launch, but with that out of the way, let's get into the actual video. Wuchang is confirmed to have at least 25 unique weapons. I'm unsure whether the 5 available through either pre-order or the deluxe edition are included, so we will say somewhere between 25 and 30 weapons for now. These weapons fall into 5 different types, those being axe, broadsword, dual swords, greatsword, and spear. Bai can have any 2 weapons equipped at once, and these are interchangeable between combat, and presumably can affect combos if used correctly. As for the weapon's distinct personalities, the axes and greatswords are typically slow but deadly, whilst the swords and dual swords are swift and mobile, and the spear naturally has quite good reach. Outside of this, however, each weapon type does have a distinct skill and ability, such as axes appear to be the only weapons within the game that can actually block incoming attacks. However, other weapon types offer parries, kicks, etc., but whether absolutely every single axe can block and every single sword can kick, or if these change depending on the specific weapon, we do not know for certain just yet. Additionally, each individual weapon does also have its own unique skill, such as this axe is able to volley fire, but not much else is known about these unique skills just yet. Outside of the weapons, dodging is possible regardless of weapon type, and due to the previously mentioned skills, Wuchang does place a higher focus on dodging over anything else. However, chosen weapons will offer unique refinement into specific playstyles, such as parrying, blocking, etc. In addition to the weapons, Bai will also have access to over 40 different magical abilities. Now, magic will be usable across the board and does not require skill points needing to first be allocated into any specific stats. Instead, we simply unlock more and more as we progress, and we're free to equip whatever spells we like along the way. Spells do require Skyborn Might in order to be cast, and this can be replenished mid-combat by perfect dodging enemy attacks. We don't know much about the specific spells themselves, but with up to 40 of them being available, variety shouldn't be an issue. Now, of course, outside of weapons and spells, we do also have armor sets to pick and choose from. All armor sets come in 5 individual pieces, and each individual piece will grant its own stats and attributes. Now, the deeper specifics are just like everything else, in which they are still largely unknown. However, these armor sets may grant bonuses depending on having multiple pieces from the same set equipped, or they may be completely interchangeable. We do also have accessories, and again, not much is known. Regardless, through the vast variety of weapons, armor, accessories, and spells, there does certainly appear to be plenty of potential for build customization and variety. Moving on, we do have Wuchang's skill tree, which for all intents and purposes does look very vast. We've no confirmation on just how many options are available here, or just how big this skill tree goes. It's being compared to the skill trees within Path of Exile, but also confirmed to not be as big. Regardless, due to sheer size alone, I'm personally very excited to get stuck into this and see just what is available and how to effectively navigate through. The skill tree is said to impact by stats and skills alike, meaning you can increase your max vitality, stamina, etc. etc., whilst also unlocking new skills and abilities, essentially blending a skill tree and level up system all into the same thing. To level up, or rather unlock anything within the skill tree, you will need red mercury, which is the default currency earned through defeating enemies. Some of the skill tree unlocks do require specific items also. This is presumably in an effort to stop players from becoming too strong too early, but I'm sure we'll find plenty of ways around this anyway. Now, as for one of the more unique mechanics, little is known about this for now, but enemies and bosses alike do indeed reward abilities over time, presumably once having defeated them enough. And naturally, these abilities can be interchanged with everything else, meaning we actually have weapons, armor, accessories, magic, the skill tree, and additional unlocks to play around with and build whatever we like out of. However, while still on the note of unique mechanics, Wuchang does also feature madness. Essentially, madness builds up by either killing human enemies or dying yourself, and once the madness gauge has filled up entirely, a demon will be manifested as a result, mirroring form and abilities, and we must face this inner demon to get rid of it. The demon will be hostile to both Bai and all other enemies, can't be found within boss arenas, and is said to be quite challenging to defeat. Additionally, having a high madness will increase your damage output, but also simultaneously increase your damage received, so basically high risk, high reward. So that is a lot of the juicy stuff covered, but as for the game's world and story, it has been confirmed that there are plenty of NPCs that will further the main story and offer side quests along the way. Some are more important than others, but multiple NPCs will also double as merchants. The world map itself is said to be multiple different regions that are interconnected with one another. Whether these are instance-based or not, we will just have to wait and see, but Wuchang is also said to be anything but linear, offering multiple different paths and progression options right from the offset, meaning at any given time you may have multiple different bosses to conquer and progress past, also suggesting there will be plenty of getting lost and finding shiny things along the way. Speaking of bosses, we're not sure what the full roster looks like just yet, but there is quite a collection gathered together online already. I won't spoil the list here, nor do I have a ballpark number for the number of bosses within the game, but Wuchang does boast over a 60-hour full playthrough, so we can hazard a guess that there will be at least 20 or so bosses along the way. And finally, on the topic of story once again, we do indeed have confirmation that Wuchang does offer multiple endings, adding to the replayability and suggesting that certain decisions will need to be made throughout the entire journey. Now, what isn't set in stone and is just more general opinion would be that Wuchang has seen much praise regarding its combat and has mostly been likened to Bloodborne and Sekiro. It's easy to see the resemblances in gameplay. Combat doesn't seem as slow as Lies of P, but also doesn't look quite as fast as Kazan, which is where I would roughly place Sekiro and Bloodborne in terms of overall pacing. So overall, Wuchang definitely appears to be trying to bring its own unique take to the oversaturated Souls-like formula, but we will just have to wait and see whether she sticks the landing or not. We have skipped over much smaller details here and there, such as lore, settings, theme, and some of the less interesting aspects of the game, but as far as all of the game's core mechanics, build variety, and general gameplay loop, we have covered just about everything that is currently known thus far. Wuchang does of course release on the 24th of July. Pre-orders and the deluxe edition are currently available, and if you'd like a very quick breakdown on just what those entail, then check out this video right here. Anyway, that would be it for this video, folks. I'll be back over the coming weeks with more Wuchang, right up to launch, where I have plenty of guides and news videos in mind. I do, of course, have a range of guides and news videos already on the channel, so do feel free to stop on by and check things out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, peace.